All right. Welcome into the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Moen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how we doing?
We are doing well. We're on a took the 6-game homestand, can't complain.
No, we are not. The Bucks, a little hot right now.
Little hot.
A little hot. Now, the defense is not where we expect it to be, but at this point in time, we're not really worried about it. And this might be how the defense plays the rest of the season. I feel like every game could be high scoring, kind of a barn burner. But you know what? As long as the Bucks win, nothing really to complain about.
Yeah, at this point, when I'm looking at the other scores in the NBA, they're all like this. So it's one of those things where it's not just the Bucks who are letting up all these points. It's damn near every team.
Yeah, it's not kind of strange. Like, okay, I knew offense was up, but like you didn't think it'd be 1,000 times more up than it has been. Like, again, I don't even know if people even notice this because, in football, what they talk about is, offense is down or offense is up this year or touchdowns are up, touchdowns are down. Offense, I don't know. I don't know if people really notice that where it's up or down, if there's more scoring, less scoring, because, with the rule changes, everybody kind of feels like it's more of an offensively driven league than probably it was like 15, 20 years ago. So I think the offense is probably always up. But, Milwaukee, I don't know. Like some of the things you can't really explain. Like, for example, we understand that these are NBA players and they're uber talented and, they can make all the plays. They can make all the shots and all this other stuff. I don't think it explains like Milwaukee. You just sometimes just giving up easy baskets or not getting back in transition. I think a lot of that is on coaching too.
Yeah, it's some of those things where depending on the plays that you have, and I feel like it goes for everyone too, not just the Bucks, but the transition points, I feel like in the Bucks game specifically, because that's what we watch, are horrible. I feel like there's so many plays where it's like you get a good play and then all of a sudden you just give it right back up in 3 seconds because no one's running back, or you miss a shot and it's like, I'll get there eventually, and no, play's already done. But yeah, Bucks are giving up a lot of points to some teams that I'm hoping they wouldn't give up a lot of points to, kind of like in the Spurs game. 119 points. It wasn't like that for the whole game. Bucks were kind of blowing them out for a while, but the fourth quarter they let up quite a lot once they threw in their reserves, or when the Bucks threw in their reserves. But I don't know, defensive wise, just is not it this year.
And I think that's been the story, is that I think the stats show the defense a lot better with Lillard, Middleton, and Giannis on the floor. But it's the reserves that allows a majority of these points. When Bobby gets in, when Pat gets in, especially when Cameron Payne gets in, like that's where Milwaukee gets in trouble defensively because those guys aren't like, okay, Pat's like a decent defender, but those other two, they're not like defensive stoppers.
And they're not big either. Like if you're going to throw in Bobby for like being their off the bench big, it's not like he's some 6'11" kind of guy. He's what, 6'7", 6'8", not big bodied, but yeah, it's that, or when you have the garbage time where you're up by 20 points or so with 3 or 4 minutes left and you throw in all the reserves. The Bucks reserves get cooked every time. And the Bucks win by like 10 when they're up by 20 plus near the end of the game just because they can't keep up with them. But again, at the end of the day, where it's like the Bucks still win by double digits, but it's like you had that big lead and then it just disappears because of the reserves to the reserves, like your AJ Green, your Robin Lopez and Thanasis. When they go in there, it's like, ugh. The score is different a lot when you throw those guys in.
Yeah, and I don't even think Adrian Griffin's like I feel like he just wants to win. Like I don't think he's paying too much attention to how they look in the win, if they allow a lot of points or any of that stuff. Because, like I said, these are NBA players. These guys are talented. The offense is up. I think if and I think we knew that, that, after they got rid of Drew Holiday, they were going to take a hit defensively. And it's really kind of shown up in some of these games that, obviously Lillard paired with Middleton, and Giannis isn't a bad defender, but Lillard as an individual defender isn't very good. He's not a very strong defender. He's not Drew Holiday. Okay, there's nobody who's going to be able to replace Drew Holiday. So, of course, Milwaukee's going to take a bit of a hit defensively. But, I don't even think this is an Adrian Griffin problem. I think no matter what coach they hired, and if they still would have made that same trade,
it's going to be
the same thing.
Yeah, we traded our defense for our offense, and it's starting to show a lot more, though, with, like, not in a negative way, in a positive way. I feel like for offensively, I feel like a lot of guys are starting to break open. Outside of the Magic game that we'll get to, Bobby has been doing so much better scoring. He's like consistently, I don't know, like 10 to 12, kind of points, but he's been cracking. He had that 31-point game. He had a 23-point game this game, and I feel like confidence-wise, he's doing a lot better. He's getting a lot of second-chance points. A couple plays during this game and the game before. I don't remember who they played. Was that the Rockets game? Yeah, the Rockets game and the Pistons one. Just a lot of second-chance baskets, sometimes converting to and ones, but offensively, I feel like a lot of the guys who weren't producing as much earlier on in the year are doing a lot better. And I feel like they're kind of flip-flopping. Like Campaign's kind of like slowing down a little bit while Bobby is starting to emerge a lot more. But overall, I feel like offensively they played a lot better. 3 points, again, they're 18 for like 49 or 50, so that'll be that. But hey, I can't complain about that turnout. I feel like outside of the last few minutes with the backup reserves, I felt overall it was a pretty easy win for the Bucks, especially scoring 44 in the first quarter, I think it was, which pretty sure was the season high for them this year. But yeah, overall, nothing too crazy about it. Victor Wembanyama didn't play, so that kind of sucks just because I'm sure all the people who were going to that game were going to see him, or at least I would have. But yeah, he didn't play. So what, your next best player is Zach Collins, I guess. He had his 22 points. Was it Johnson? I forgot his first name. Was it?
Kelvin Johnson. Yep.
I was going to say that, but I almost wanted to say Kelvin. But Kelvin Johnson is that from Like Mike? That's a movie. That's a movie basketball name. But yeah, overall, I just felt like in general the Spurs just could not match up against the Bucks. They're just down there with the Pistons with horrible record. They're 4 of 22. 2 and 10 away. So, it was an easy win I felt for the Bucks, and it was something that they needed to just kind of win and move on to the next one for the Magic. Yeah, no one really on the Spurs stood out to me except Keldon Johnson and Zach Collins. You had a couple like 17 points, 12 points. Really, they're starters. That's it.
Yeah, and as I was watching that game, there were two things that popped into my mind. First, it's like, who's worse? Who's the worst bad team? Is it Detroit or is it San Antonio? Obviously, it's Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
But San Antonio, it's just they didn't really make it a game. And second of all, what's Greg Popovich's motivation for coaching this team? Is it just Wembanyama?
I feel like it has to be. There's I don't remember. It was during that game. I think it was Lisa, one of the Bucks sideline report, or not sideline reporters, play-by-plays. She had mentioned that Popovich was basically saying that like he was there for the win, so now he kind of has to be there when they're not winning. Obviously, so he kind of sees the two sides. Obviously, you had the 5 or so championship rings with them, and now you have the less than 5 wins with the team. So you're there for the wins, you're there for the losses. But yeah, at this point, I just feel like it's for Wembanyama. No one else on the team is really worth noting on career-wise, but that would be my motivation, is to get this number 1 overall pick better and hope that other people want to come to San Antonio. Otherwise, he'll probably just end up dipping and going somewhere else. I don't know if he's going to be the guy who commits to the team forever, like Tim Duncan and those guys, but who knows? Who knows? It's just not ugly. And I feel like the Spurs aren't being talked about enough like the Pistons are if Wembanyama wasn't on the team. Since he's on the team, though, he's still up there in Rookie of the Year. He's somehow ahead of Chet. I'm not a big Chet fan, but I feel like he should be the favorite by now. But yeah, That's really the only thing the Spurs have going for them.
I could see Wemby being remaining in San Antonio for the remainder of his career, and here's why. European players are far more loyal than American players. And what I mean by that is, if you go down the list, okay, how many European players have publicly demanded a trade? How many European players are, wanting to break their contracts to sign with another team? And the more I think about it, it's like, it hasn't happened. It really hasn't happened. Okay. And the examples I brought up are obviously LeBron James. Okay. I brought up Kyrie Irving. I brought up James Harden. I brought up Kevin Durant. So those four guys, and I'll throw AD into the mix, although I think he might have been a free agent at the end of the year. But it's just like European players don't want to jump teams if they're not happy. They just kind of stick it out. And, American-born players, they just don't do that. It's like first sign of trouble, let's go to another championship team.
Mm-hmm.
So Wemby, I could see him being like, yeah, no, I'll if the Spurs get good enough, he could do what Giannis does, where it's like, look, they got they got to build a championship team around me, or else I'm not going to be there, type of thing. Which I think is far different from like, this team's good, but I don't really like playing on this team anymore, so I'm going to leave. Mm-hmm. It's far different. Okay, it's far different. Like from what Giannis did to like what Kevin Durant did, Kyrie, James Harden, LeBron, like, it is far different. Like, look, build a championship team around me, I'm going to leave.
That's fair. I guess I never really thought of it that way, because I'm like, as you're talking, I'm going through like players in my head of like, oh, yep, they stayed. Oh, yep, they also stayed. Yep, they're still on the same team. Like, I'm thinking of Manu Ginobili stuck with the Spurs for a while. Tony Parker stuck with the Spurs for his entire career until he went to the Hornets again for his last 2 years, and I think he only played one there. And you got Jokic obviously still. You got Giannis still. You have, I would assume Luka will continue to stay with the Mavs. I know he's re-signed as well, or he's going to. But yeah, never really thought of it that way. But yeah, I can kind of see him pulling a Giannis kind of build for me. Otherwise, I'm out. But yeah, so he'll have a few years before he can re-sign, or sign the extension. But yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. That I mean, I don't really see him leaving. Again, if they're going to pay him a crap ton of money, why would you leave? But yeah, so overall though, anything else that you got from that game? I just saw his Giannis triple-double, but like a horrible not a horrible triple-double. When I think of a Giannis triple-double, I think of like 30 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. But I don't know, he out-assisted himself and in points and rebounds. He had a career high in assists with 16. I had to double-check if that was a career high at first before they announced it. His previous was 15, got up to 16. But yeah, horrible shooting game, but got 11 points, 14 rebounds, 16 assists. Other notable ones, you have Dame with his first 40-point game for them this season. But outside, the starters and Bobby, nothing too crazy. But Robin Lopez dropped in a 3. I think that was the point, like the time for him to do it. Again, you throw him in there for 2 minutes, hits a corner 3, the T celebration that him and Brooke do. I know Brooke does like the little smoking one. He does the T, but vintage Robin Lopez, I feel like, is back, and I feel like he should deserve way more minutes after that shot. But no, otherwise, that's pretty much all I got from that one.
Actually, there was one more highlight. Bobby Porter's gotten in another fight.
Yes, he did.
Jeremy Sochan, as it is pronounced. It ignited the hatred for Sochan because they're like, what does this guy do? Okay, here's the thing. So Sochan, if you don't know him, if you don't know his history, he was a really good player at Baylor. He was part of their national championship team back in, I think it was a COVID year. I think it was 2020 or 2021, one of those 2 years. But anyways, no, he's a really good defender. Like, Dennis Rodman-esque because he's always changing his hair, and he
Yep.
can be kind of a pest. He's like one of those guys that you hate to play against, but you love him on your team. Like, anytime you get into it with Bobby Portis, that's like you already got. Like, it's kind of easy to get under Bobby's skin because all you have to do is like bump Giannis a little bit, and all of a sudden Bobby Portis is gonna come running, and like he's our enforcer. So, those two guys picked up double techs.
Yeah, was it at the free throw line? Or like they just got entangled and they kept walking around with their arms locked together?
Yeah. So, there was one person not letting go. I think it was like Shoshan didn't let go of Bobby's arm, or it might have been the other way around. But, those guys picked up double technicals. Mamu's also in there. Evan's favorite player from last year, the return of Mamu. It is good to see him because he didn't get much of an opportunity in Milwaukee. And now that he's on the Spurs, like on a really bad team, now he can kind of thrive and just play low pressure basketball.
Again, playing amazing in the G League. I saw the thing from the other day where it's like he asked to go down to the G League and had like 33 points, 15. It was like some absurd stat line. He's like one of those guys where super good in the G League. I know we've mentioned this last time he was on the team. Super good in the G League, but then comes up and doesn't really translate. It's like Kesson Hira, really good in AAA. Then you bring him up and it's like, just can't quite get to that spot, which is unfortunate because everyone here liked him. Good old Mamu, but yeah. Good on the rebounds and assists and stuff, but just scoring-wise just couldn't really find his shot in the NBA. But, it was always a good sighting to see an ex-Bucks player that the city of Milwaukee adored so much. But yeah, the technical, I did forget about that. I just think it's funny just like watching them walk around like locked arms and I'm not letting go. Nope, it wasn't me. Nope. And the other hand's up like, I didn't do it. But yes, good times. It's always Bobby,
And you're always kind of afraid with Bobby that if he picks up one, it's just like, oh, he's a ticking time bomb.
Here comes number two.
Here comes he's going to get ejected. Like, it's like Bobby's one of those guys that like he doesn't sometimes he doesn't know the line. So like he'll pick up one and just be like, if someone else messes with him, he's just like, screw it, I'm getting kicked out of this game.
Yeah, he's a ticking time bomb essentially of when's the next one going to happen. It's like highly likely that there's going to be potentially another one or another scuffle. It's not like technical issue, but like could potentially get one. He'll always be butting heads with someone.
But here's the thing. I appreciate him for doing it because it's just like I don't want Giannis in a fight.
No, exactly.
But like Milwaukee is just like, on every team you need junkyard dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've said that. And Jay Crowder's out. Okay, Jay Crowder's going to be out. He should be back next month.
I feel like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Fairly soon, Jay Crowder should be back. So once Jay Crowder gets back into the mix, that if someone messes with Giannis, man, you got to go through Jay Crowder and Bobby Portis and those guys. So, they got those two guys to deal with. But, outside of that, really wasn't anything noteworthy. Like Zach Collins, like he's just another random player that went off against Milwaukee. A nice little 22 piece. And
he had a couple threes, and it was like, all right, it's the Zach Collins game.
And it's good to see Zach Collins do good because, he dealt with a boatload of injuries when he played for the Portland Trailblazers. Mm-hmm. So, now that he's kind of able to get a second chance in San Antonio, he's played good. He's a good basketball player on a bad team.
Yep.
So, moving on to the next game. Milwaukee played yesterday against the Orlando Magic. Me and Evan were there.
Yep.
Okay. Here's a caveat to that. Me and Evan actually sat like
unironically
each other.
Yes. You had already gotten there.
Mm-hmm.
I was with my bosses from my other job and one of the other guys that I work with there. And, we're walking down to our seats and we sit down. It was like my boss, my friend, and then me. And then someone's getting up in my left and at every game, you got to stand up for whoever's coming. And you stand up. I'm like, no fucking way. The odds of that happening is actually insane. I think the stadium is like 18,000 capacity and to sit right now. Oh my gosh. Same row, same seats. So actually crazy. It was so funny.
The odds of that happening again are slim to none.
Yep.
But I don't know what happened because it was one of those things where I felt like it was gonna be one of those nights. Because even before I walked into the seat, and I'm sure you see this because you go to a lot more games than I do. On my seat, it said, "You are a winner."
Oh, you got one of those? Nice.
I got one of those. So
Did you get like a pen?
a lot of people. So here's the thing: a lot of people were confused because they were like, "What did you win?" And I'm like, "I didn't win anything. I had to sign up." And it said like win courtside seats or something like that.
Oh, so it was like a crappy one of those, not like go redeem this sheet of paper.
So I don't think it was. So actually what I did was so the directions were kind of confusing because I was like, okay, if you want a chance to, because on the sheet it said enter for a chance to win or go to the sales office to redeem this or something. So I was like, all right. So to be safe, I entered a win, and then I went to the little sales office outside of our section,
Yeah.
and it was a hacky sack.
Dude, they literally give you crap. Me and my dad have weirdly won those so many times. We got one last year. It's actually really funny. So we go into the stadium, like we're going down to our seats, and we're like at where we were on one section, but we actually went to the right. So like if we were like 205 and we were in 204, like the split, we just went on the wrong side. We went to the row to see, we're like, oh, we're a winner. Like, yeah, we got it. And we've gotten them in the past a few times. And you have to like show your ticket in order to redeem it. Like, oh yeah, prove it kind of thing. And we take it, we go up and we give them the thing. We get like some Bucks pen. I think that's why I mentioned that earlier, because it was like we get like this like crappy little gift. And then we go sit back down in our seat and we're like, wait a second. Like, is this right? Like we were over there and like we were in we just grabbed it off of a seat and redeemed it by accident because we thought we were in that section, but we're the other section over in the same seat. So, just grabbed one, redeemed it, didn't have to prove anything.
So I'm so confused. So like, are they going to announce anything, or is the hacky sack my gift?
The hacky sack was probably your gift. It's like, oh, congratulations, yeah.
Because here's the thing. Because there was a lady who asked, it's like, yeah, when's this going to be announced or something like that? And I thought someone was up there was like, yeah, after the holidays.
Then you're probably in like a drawing now too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, and that's the thing. And they were just like, I was like, wait, that's my gift. Because I was trying to tell people, it's like, I don't like. No, I thought the hacky sack was like, here, in case you don't win, like here's like something to, here's something to remember us, or like thank you for taking it over or whatever. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with the hacky sack. I don't think I've ever used a hacky sack in my life.
It's like,
and to be honest, my brother actually won something like that in like 2014, where it was just like, hey, you have a chance to win, play one-on-one with, or not one-on-one, but like, meet Jabari Parker or something like that. And he never won. I don't know who won, but I don't know. I was just happy the fact that my seat was selected because I normally don't win anything like that. I am not that lucky. So the fact that I even have a chance of being in a drawing, it's pretty cool. By the same token, I don't live in Milwaukee. Okay. I live like an hour and 30 minutes away. So the chances of me like using it and like going down there, I hope it's good, but like on a good day, I can maybe get to $1 game a year. Like, because we just don't live down there, and that's kind of one of those things where it's, for us, that's a Christmas gift.
Yes.
Like a Brewer game, all right, easier to get to, attainable, all this other stuff. A Bucks game, it's a lot harder because it's most of the time it's in the middle of winter. There's like I don't know if there's like ever the perfect time to go.
Yep. Parking's bad. It's not like it's not like a Brewers parking lot where you can go in and get your spot. It's paying a crap ton of money to park, and then you gotta, it's all factored in.
Yeah, and plus, I'm gonna be honest. I you've been through security a lot. The Bucs security, I gotta tell you, they got TSA vibes to me. All right, everyone come in. Just throw my shit
stuff,
down.
put it in. Yep, it's a new one from last year, I think, or like, I don't think they had a different. You'd always put your stuff in, but they would just like shove it to the side. Now they put it through that whole like detecting machine, like literally like TSA. Except we're going to.
I know, no, and the people there act like they're from TSA. All right, everyone, just put everything in. And then they just throw my shit down. I'm like, Jesus Christ, God damn, it's an NBA game.
It's always fun trying to get into those stadiums, especially how cramped it is too when you go into the main doors. That's where I usually go in.
Yeah,
it's always tight, cramped, and then people are it's a fun time trying to get into the building. But once you're up, you're up.
Yeah. It's also easy to get lost there too.
Yes,
I might add. If you're not like aware of like where your surroundings are, it can be very, very easy to get like lost. Like the atmosphere is amazing, but yeah, it can be like in terms of like getting to your seat. It's just like it's pretty easy to get lost there. But I will say this: walking up and down those steps, you do get quite a bit of a workout.
Yeah, it's steep. Though a lot better than the Bradley Center was, because now Fiserv is like the Brewers where you walk down to your seats.
Yeah,
Bradley Center you have to like walk up to your seats, and it was like the higher you would go, it felt like you were just gonna fall backwards. I remember I sat for Kobe's last game. We got the last row on the top, and I was like, whoa, because it feels like you're gonna fall. And then you're sitting upright, and it was a crap hole.
Yeah, but it was our crap hole.
It was our crap hole, yes.
It was our crap hole, but it was one of those things where it's just like, watching the Bucs play at the Bradley Center when I was a kid. It was again good atmosphere for a game, but again, it was one of those things where I went there so few times. It was just like. I didn't notice any, like you obviously went a lot more than I did because you lived a lot closer. So, I didn't notice any of that stuff about the Bradley Center. I probably just wanted to enjoy
going to the game,
and it's kind of the transition for the Bradley Center to the Fiserv was kind of perfect because it went from like old school Bucks or old age Bucks to new age Bucks.
Yep.
And the more that I think about it, it's just like, Milwaukee really started to become good once the Fiserv was built. Like, we're not getting Damian Lillard at the Bradley Center. We're not getting – I don't even know if we're getting prime Giannis at the Fiserv. I don't think we're getting new Giannis at the Bradley Center. It's just one of those things where it's like, Milwaukee eventually had to change, and I just think that the Fiserv, it's like, okay, let's unlock what Bucks basketball is supposed to be about.
It's so much better.
The Bradley Center, like you said, it was a dump, and that's the arena where Milwaukee won like 13 games.
Yep.
We're not winning.
Supposed to be for hockey, but they never got a hockey team, so they got the Admirals. Because it was just a concrete building. It was freezing in there.
Yeah. By the way, me and my brother were having this discussion last night. So, in 2017, when the Bucks played against the Celtics, did they play one game at the old Milwaukee Arena?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's when they did the Mecca Court.
The Mecca. That's what I thought. So it wasn't at the Bradley Center. It was at the
now Panther Arena. Yes.
Yeah. Again, probably not the safest. Probably not the safest place to play a basketball game because since it hadn't been used for a long ass time.
Yeah, that's where the Panthers play now, and the Admirals and the Wave. But yeah, it was not primarily meant for NBA basketball.
No, I think Kyrie had something to say about that. It's like, that's not a safe court to.
Yeah, no.
Let's not play a court we haven't used in like 20 plus years, but yeah. And the other thing that happened, but real quick before we get into the game. So, Evan, why don't you tell about your experience playing that game at halftime?
Yeah. So I have a couple buddies that I work with at the Brewers who work for the Bucks. They asked me and my friend to play the game. One of those shooting games. I was not ready. I hadn't shot a basketball in months. I don't even play basketball. I bricked every free throw. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard, but it was fun though because I had never been down low while a game's going on. Like if I'm gonna be, I've been on the Bucks court, but that's like for different events where like there's no game going on. But to like sit down there for a little bit and kind of watch the game up close, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, we did one of the games right after halftime. I didn't win. I didn't make anything, but it was fun because you're on the court, you're taking free throws. A lot of pressure though. I was very nervous. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And kind of give us an inside look. So when you shoot at an NBA regulation, like how high is it?
It's like it's weird because you're not like when you think of like a gym, like if you're going to the Y, you know, you have the wall behind you. You have like a more of a depth perception, but it's like you have the whole hundreds of seats behind you that kind of shoot up, and then you have the people to your side. So it's like it was so hard to aim because it wasn't hard to aim, but like it was hard to tell like how hard to shoot. I think I was trying to shoot a little harder. So I was like back rimming and then it would come out and I didn't know how to adjust because, you know, you got 30 seconds. It's like, go kind of thing. So I couldn't like stand there and just, you know, shoot around and like work with it. But yeah, it was like, it felt like it was like a 3D kind of show where it's like, whoa, like here it is and you're shooting. But yeah, it's a lot different than it is like shooting in a recreational gym where the hoop's on the wall and this is like the hoop's its own standalone kind of thing.
Yeah, and it can be kind of, again, I don't think any of us can sit here and be like, I would have done better. How can you miss all that and stuff like that? Look, it is a lot of pressure. And you know,
I was so nervous. It's weird being on the other side of it because usually I'm the person like finding people for games or, you know, watching other people do it. Like, I don't play basketball. I play in a church softball league. Basketball was never my strong suit if I'm not playing it recreationally where I can airball all I want. But, you know, it's cool.
But to be fair to Evan, everyone who played in those challenges yesterday, everybody had a rough shooting night.
Yeah. Oof.
Okay.
It's hard.
It's hard. Bango couldn't even make a backwards half court shot. Like everybody had a rough shooting night. Okay, nobody had a good night. And one more question: is that the in-game host? Is that the same one for the Brewers and the Badgers, or is that a different one?
No, that's a different one.
Different one. I was like,
yes.
I was about to say, damn, she's everywhere.
No, yeah, she is. The lovely Nicole, you know, she does the Brewers and the Badgers hockey and men's basketball team. But yes, she does those two. I think that host does the Blackhawks.
Okay.
Well, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. I was about to say, damn, she's everywhere. Yeah. Maybe we'll have her get in the NBA. So actually, let's actually get right into the game. It was for the most part. It was back and forth for the first half.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was one of those annoying games where it's like, we just keep this lead. And then it was like, oh, we're up by 12. Like, okay. You know, again, a 12-point lead is never safe in the NBA. But it's like we would go up 12 and then we would give it right back. Oh, we're back up. And it's like a roller coaster, you know? Yeah. And yeah, this didn't change, but really good game from Giannis. That's all I can say. Giannis and Lillard were our main scorers. Everyone else just chipped in.
Yeah, Giannis started off the game scoring our first 6 points. And you never really look back from there. You know, Giannis, like we said before, I don't really want to rely on Giannis to have to score like that. But I guess in a meaningless regular season game in December, it works. You know, Damian Lillard, he made some line distance shots. He had a good game, but good God. I mean, they could not stop Franz Wagner. And that guy has been in my nightmares ever since he played in Michigan. But just they've never been able to stop him. See, you know how last week or a couple weeks ago I was telling you about like players who usually killed like Wisconsin in college usually end up killing the Bucks in the NBA. It's exactly how this works. Franz Wagner played really well against Wisconsin. We played in Michigan, and now it's like nobody can. Now it's like we can't stop him.
Yeah, it was him and you got him and his brother obviously on the team. Mo Wagner, I think is he the older one? I think or is he younger?
Mo's the older one. Franz is the younger one.
Yeah, so he came off the bench and scored 21 points. It was really him, Paolo, and Cole Anthony for like the four of them combined were like their main scorers. But yeah, it's always the Bucks killer. I saw the post, I forgot, from the bubble when Mo Wagner was on the Wizards when Giannis like headbutted him in the bubble. That was always whenever I think of him, I think of that headbutt. But yeah, this was one of those games where back and forth until the very end, where it was like, fine. Oh, they missed it. And then, yeah, just kind of secured the win near the end with free throws. The ending of the game took forever.
Yep.
Oh, my God. It was like 3 seconds left. Timeout. I'm like, ugh. Can we just end the game? There's like mathematically, you're not coming back. And it just kept going. There are some games where it's like, it feels like, but it's really not. But that one, it felt like every possession was free throws, a timeout, or like a stop. And I was like, oh my God, can we just finish this game? It would not end. And then it finally did, the Bucks winning 118 to 114.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where to kind of paint a picture here. It was one of those things where like Milwaukee just kept allowing easy baskets.
Yeah, and it was like, you're doing this to yourself.
They just, and I get it. They wanted to avoid a foul, so it's like let them pick up an easy two. But good God, it then and then for some stupid reason, like they pass the ball to Giannis and expecting him to make free throws, where it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you get the ball in your hands of your best player? Well, Giannis is very good at free throws. So I do kind of compare him to Shaq, where it's like I'm nervous when he's at the line, but at the same time, I kind of know he's going to make them when they count.
Yeah.
But still, he's not really like a person I want shooting those.
Yeah, just in general, it's like I don't want him at the line for any situation. If Lillard and Chris are on the floor at the same time as Giannis in crunch time, Giannis is the last resort of who I want shooting a free throw. In any situation. Just put Lillard on the line and you're good. That's it.
But I guess like Giannis provides like a bigger target because they just know he's not gonna do anything stupid with the basketball.
Yes.
So it's just I don't know. I guess they kind of, and he did make 1 out of 2 last night. Kind of a clutch situation. And there was a game last year, 2 years ago, where I think it was against the Nets. It might have been where he made like a crucial free throw. So, he can make them, but it's still you get a sinking feeling in your stomach.
Yeah, he could finish this. Yeah,
don't miss it. But you're right. That game took forever,
but it took forever. But they won. That's all I can. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Is they won. It was just a very long win. But overall, again, Giannis had 34 and Lillard had 20. Sorry, Giannis had 37. Lillard had 24. But just another high-scoring, not really high-scoring game, but high-scoring game for Giannis. Overall, though, it wasn't as high as the last games have been. But it's just one of those games they need to win. They kind of got blown out the last time they played the Magic away. So the new streak winning against the Magic starts now. Again, they had like a 4-year win streak against them, and now it's back to 1. So I think overall, though, they kind of picked it up, though, in the second half. Their fourth quarter wasn't too good, but just a good overall stagnant game, just back and forth, never ending.
And we kind of remarked this during the course of the game yesterday, is that, like, I think at some level, Jonathan Isaac, I think, played good defense on Giannis.
Yeah, he had a double block on Giannis. Like, blocked him. Giannis got the ball back, went up, blocked him again. Career play right there for him. But then Giannis dunked on him. And Marjan Bocep also dunked on him. Giannis missed 2 potential dunk of the years that game. Oh, my God. When he goes up and his whole arm is back and then he misses it, I just want to see one like massive Giannis dunk. That's all I want to see, and he missed both of them.
And I think what I found more funny about that is the fact that he complained to the refs right after. Like that's what's funny about the Bucks is I will watch the replays. It's like for Brook Lopez, for example, like Brook like slapped someone on the arm.
Brook
and he'll
always will go, oh!
It's just,
every single time he's called for a foul.
It's like, well, I commit that. Brook, you slapped him across the arm.
I
love you, but dude, that's a foul. That's not a clean block. Like Brooks in his life never thinks he committed a foul. It's like, dude, that's a foul. It's a foul anywhere.
Every single time he fouls someone, he does that. Like, I would say at least 9 out of 10 times, you will always see him going, some sort of like, kind of reaction. It's so funny every time. But yeah, there's somewhere it's like, okay, maybe that wasn't a foul. That's that one time. But yeah, usually it's boom, right on the wrist. I don't even know how many he had. Yeah, he had 5 that game. 2 of them converted into blocks. But so I know he had the late play where it was a couple controversial block calls at the end, but it all ended the correct way.
But now what I'm noticing defensively is now they're putting Brook in a better position to get those blocks.
Yes, whether it's a contest, because there's sometimes where it's like he can't really get the block, but it's more the contest shots that they're allowing him to have in the paint, especially in the restricted area. Some of them, they just get lucky and throw it high off the glass and it goes in, which is unfortunate. It's a good play, but yeah, he's contesting a lot more, whether it's converted into a block or just having pressure on the player shooting to make a harder shot, I guess. But yeah, it's helped a lot better because I think I saw a stat. I could try to pull it up, but I know in the last month or so, Giannis, Brook had more blocks than 5 teams in the NBA. I think he had like 33 blocks this month, something around there. But yeah, it's getting a lot better with the adjustments they're making, which is what they needed to do. Yeah, here we go. 34 blocks in December, which is more than the Heat that only had 25. Golden State had 26. Cleveland had 30. It's kind of surprising. Is Jared Allen injured? I don't remember. I don't really care. Sacramento, 31.
Mobley's hurt for them.
Mobley is, okay.
Mobley, yeah.
Sacramento had 31 and Portland had 33. So he outblocked 5 teams.
To be fair, like, for those 5 teams, like, how many of them, like, really have a defensive like, for a Golden State, like, Looney is a good defender.
But he's not a shot blocker.
Yeah, no, he's not. No, he's not. So I'm trying to think. So I'm trying to think. Like, there's really nobody that like strike me as like a defensive stopper or like a shot blocker. Like, I thought Adebayo would be like, well, I guess if it's their entire team, yeah, they don't really have.
He probably has the majority of them.
Defenders, but they don't like. I don't think they're like guys who like block the basketball at all.
Yeah, no. Outside of Adebayo, yeah. Yeah, thinking of like Sacramento is like
Sabonis is not a stopper. No.
And Portland, DeAndre Ayton, no.
No.
Yeah, good for Brook though. Yeah, all-star caliber.
Yeah, when they were trying to figure out like what to do with him earlier in the year, like kind of try to put him all over the place. Now it feels like they're kind of going back to, drop coverage a little bit, and it's like finally, it's like that's where Brook thrives. It's like he's not gonna be guys gonna be chasing people around, but hey, just put him in one area and see what he can do.
Yeah, at this point, it's let them come to him and not go after them because he can't do anything in transition. He does try, but he will never outrun a 23-year-old point guard. It's physically impossible. But yeah, let them come to him and he'll do the work down low in the paint or in the restricted area. But yeah, it's a lot better, I think, defensively, because really for them defensively, they only have him and Giannis that are like their main defenders. Everyone else is kind of like defend as they can. I guess you could kind of throw in Andre Jackson, but realistically, Giannis and Brooke are their main two. But yeah, it's doing a lot better, I think, overall.
So, Evan, you got anything else?
We got 2 games back to back in New York against the Knicks. Tomorrow we have a matinee game at 11:30 a.m. and Monday we have another matinee game at 11 a.m. on Christmas. So again, that game will determine my mood for the day. It's different when the Bucks have the morning games, because if they lose, then I'm like, great. I got to go through the whole day. Like, great, they just lost and family's over. I'm like, like kind of that. But yeah, Bucks play the Knicks. Hopefully, if they're gonna win the games, win the one on Christmas. That's all that matters. But yeah, Bucks are on a 6-game winning streak right now. They have not lost since the in-season tournament loss against the Pacers. So kind of hoping to continue from there. I think since Tyrese did the Dame time celebration on Lillard, he's shooting like 26 from the 3-point line, averaging 16 points, and they're 2-5, and the Bucks are 6-0 since doing that. So, thank you, Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay. All right. Before I wrap up this podcast, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, depending on which one you kind of go with. Evan, so what are you doing this fine holiday season?
Christmas Eve. We'll probably just have a small dinner with my family. And then Christmas morning, we'll wake up, we'll open gifts. Then we go to our neighbors across the street. We'll have brunch. And then we usually do like Christmas games. Have you ever done the saran wrap ball game? It's a big saran wrap ball and you put little gifts and stuff in there. You have oven mitts on and you got to unravel it. And the other person's rolling a dice. So like, if you have to roll doubles for that person to stop, and then they take off the oven mitts, and the next person goes roll a dice, and you try to undo the saran wrap ball, and get as much gifts. So we do that, and then that night we'll have our grandparents come over for dinner as well. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just going over to my parents' house. That's basically what we're doing. My grandfather, he's coming over tomorrow, and that'll be that'll be fun. I obviously with the passing of my grandmother, it's not gonna be a fun holiday season for him, and I think he's even said like it's not something I'm necessarily looking forward to. But no, it's gonna be, it is good this time of year to spend time with my family. And all this other stuff, the whole gifts aspect, it's not something I would say we look forward to anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so hard to make a list. I can't.
Dude, I literally had to think of things, because if you know me, I'm kind of a minimalist. So I'm just like okay, like the only time I'll like really ask for like if I'm being kind of a smartass, I'm just like, Corey, what do you want this? Well, new car. I could use that.
Yeah.
But
the unrealistic gifts, but that's something that you need.
It's something I need. Yeah. So I'm just like, damn, what do I need? Like, what do I like? I look around my house. So I'm just like, well, I could use this, this, and this. So, I was able to make a list. And here's where it gets tricky for me, Evan. Okay. Because I don't get a break in terms of, okay, I have Christmas. Literally 2 weeks later is my birthday. I'm going to be turning 25 years old.
Welcome.
If I could barely, thank you. If I could barely think of gifts, like as a 24-year-old, what makes you think I could think of gifts as a 25-year-old?
Yep. And it's like, at least for like my birthday, it was always like, I usually don't ask for things for my birthday because it's like, I don't know what I want. But people are like, no. Look, my mom's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I really don't know anymore. My whole Christmas list is clothes. That's it. It was all clothes. So that's what I need. I need a new wardrobe. I've even put contacts. I ran out of contacts for my yearly subscription. Like, I need more of those. There's no toy that I want anymore. I'm 26. Not that baby stuff.
You're off your parents' insurance, and
I know.
like you can't.
I'm a big kid now.
Yeah. Like what? What do you?
I don't know what I do with my life anymore.
I know, like that's the thing, and that's the thing that the more you realize is like I'm fine with like the buying gifts aspect of it, but it's just one of those things where it's like it's a kid's holiday, like it's not for us. Like we're at the age now where like I don't know what I need. Okay, I'm too old to be asking for video games because I can afford it now.
Yep,
I'm
me
too old to
too.
be asking for a gaming system because again I can afford it now, but I just like it's really about like really this time is just about like seeing and spending time with your family.
Yes.
Like my brother and his girlfriend are in from Colorado. Like it's really about just spending time and enjoying that time with your family.
Agreed.
Because the gifts is just kind of
an added bonus,
it is an added bonus. It's kind of like it's kind of like the decoration or the side piece to the
itself.
holiday. Like it's just not like oh god, I'm looking forward for gifts this year. It's like,
yep, waking up at 6 a.m. Me and my brother would always like peek down, like, oh, what's down there? Have to wait 3 hours.
Well, see, here's the thing. You're lucky you had a younger brother because I was the youngest.
Yep, and you're the one waking
being
up.
the youngest, I kind of made it known. 1 year when I was a kid, I would just like I woke up, everyone in my family, and yeah, my brothers were not too happy.
Yeah, thrilled.
They were not thrilled to be woken up at 6 a.m. Corey, would you get out? Okay, I'm still sleeping. No, we gotta open gifts. We gotta open gifts. One year when I was like 8 or 9, and I had to me and my brother just set out cookies and milk for Santa because I still believed in Santa and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the milk and cookies were gone when I woke up, so I was just like 9-year-old me was just, oh my god, Santa ate the cookies, and later I found out that it was my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Who ate the cookies, or
Wait, why did they eat it? Why didn't Santa eat it? What are you saying?
Or like when they would say from Santa on your gifts, and you're just like, what, Santa came?
Yep.
And
wow, Santa has the same handwriting as my mom. That's weird.
Jesus. And then it was one of those things where my parents told me that Santa wasn't real. And I was fine. I was like, all right, okay. And apparently the next year I would be like, so what'd Santa bring me this year? Not Corey,
yeah. Oh, did Santa go to Target? Or like we would always make that joke, like, oh, Santa must have gone to dinner.
What? Santa does not shop at Kohl's.
That's our running joke. Saint Nick comes, brings our stocking, and it's, oh, what did Saint Nick bring us? And my mom would be like, oh, well, he found this here. I'm like, oh, that's cool of Saint Nick. Good times. Good times.
Good times. Yep. So, for the final time this year, thank you guys for tuning in to the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. And we'll see you guys hopefully in 2024.
Yes.